Yeah, I mean, I guess it feels quite, I don't know, well, it's really humbling sitting next to you and you're talking about what you want to give back to the community, because as an entrepreneur, my focus is more on making my aim is to have a great lifestyle eventually, and to have a great lifestyle for, eventually, again, my family and all of those things. But I guess, aside from the obvious, one day it'd be nice to have a bit of money, the other thing is the freedom, like you said. For me, I felt really confined, and I didn't think I would. At 24, I thought, what a great opportunity, but after 3 years, suddenly I felt quite constrained, that I didn't have the freedom to do the things I wanted to do. And that's not about earning money, that's about having the space to be creative, to have your own vision, to be able to go for it without sitting around a board table and someone saying, oh, you don't want to work in the creative sector, that's not going to make you any money. So yeah, it's having the freedom of your own destiny, I guess, and you'll make mistakes along the way, of course you do, and I'm Rewire is still quite a short way down a very long road, and there'll be other mistakes that we'll make, but that really excites me, and it's a real challenge, and yeah, that's, I guess, freedom again.
Freedom, you want to be challenged.
Yeah.
You want something that you feel is exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of live on adrenaline lots of the time, so, if I'm not waking up in the middle of the night thinking, oh my God, what's going on, then,
something's wrong.
Yeah, something's wrong.
Yeah, it would be hard for me to say that, financial success wasn't something that was motivating me, because I think it is. It's not the only thing that's motivating me. And I think, if you want to make a lot of money, there's a lot quicker ways to do it than go and work and try and set up a website and things like that. It's not necessarily the most sensible decision. But I suppose in that respect it was the passion for the web and things like that got to me where I was. I am employed by the company, but it was very small when I started, and I think if I hadn't have had the freedom in the initial period, and we've now grown the company to sort of around 30 people, and retain a relatively senior level in it, I don't think I would have been able to stay there as long as I have done. So freedom and sort of that passion for what I do have been sort of like the biggest motivators. Also, I think to do something that affects other people's lives is really important, and I don't think that I'm doing it maybe in the ways that Justice has been able to do so. But when we've created concepts that have just even a small number of people have engaged with and enjoyed using, that's been really satisfying. Voucher Codes has got over 700,000 members now, and we hope that we're helping people save money and things like that, and that's great. And obviously we're making money at the same time, but I think that is part of just being in a business, I suppose.
I think there's often a degree of expecting popular things to be big or expecting successful things to be big. And something Pete Ashton touched on recently following JLS problem with the crowds, and essentially the council not being able to do big, even though they've got things in plan. Obviously, do you think there is room for smaller things lead to bigger things over time? Do you feel maybe do it get too disheartened at the start?
I think I read that blog post this morning actually, so that's quite funny. I think there's nothing wrong in aspiring to be big, and if that's what motivates you and you want to be the best or the most successful site, then I think there's nothing wrong in having that aspiration and going for it. It's what drives you and what you want to achieve, and for me, I don't imagine my company will ever be bigger than sort of 8 to 10 people. I want the business to be quite small and quite personal, but what I want us to be able to work on are the big brands and the big companies that make a difference, give us the opportunity to be more creative as a business. Not surprisingly, bigger brands and bigger companies come with bigger budgets, which mean that you can be more creative in your work and have the freedom to do that. So I think there's obviously there's room for both. I think we need lots of small entrepreneurial independent businesses. I find that really exciting. I think that's a real opportunity, but I don't think there's anything wrong with somebody aspiring to be the biggest and the best, because if that's what drives them, then we need those as much as we need the small businesses.
Yeah, I mean, our organisation, we're very, very small in terms of management and size, and obviously very small in terms of money, finances. However, we've got a think big mentality. Like, I'm a person that I'm like, okay, well, I just want to do my own awards or whatever, my music video awards or whatever, then I'll just go and do it. That's just me. I think that if you think small, then you might get minuscule. If you think big, you might get somewhere in between small and big. And I don't think there's any, like I said, there's any limits you can really place on yourself. And sometimes you have to fail. And if you don't fail as you go along, how are you ever going to know what success is? And I always say to people, because I'm a big fan of like all these motivational books and things like that, you know, failure is not how much times you fall down, it's actually when you refuse to get back up again. And when you say, you know, I quit, I give up. You know, I say to people, I will never, you know, quit does not exist in my dictionary. You know, I'll keep going if it means that I'd go out in a burning flame of glory. Do you know what I mean? Trying something big, you know, so nothing ventured, nothing gained really. And I think that if you notice that, well, Richard Branson started off, he didn't think he was going to run one of the most successful, you know, airlines in the company, ever one of the biggest brands in the world, yet he does have, you know, he's dyslexic and he started off, you know, working from home in his basement. So, you know, at the end of the day, I think that you can do whatever you want, but it depends on what your motivations are. Some people want to just have a small team and get the big brands. Others want to be big and be all over the news, but not really make a lot of and have small profits. Others want big profits and all the big glory stuff that goes with it. So it's all about your personal motivation, I think.
Has there ever been a moment where any of you have gone, what am I doing? Oh my God, this is, you know, over a brief moment of just
Yeah, definitely.
panic, I guess.
I mean, I last year at one point was offered a job to go in. I'd already set Rewired up, about 6 months old, and I was offered a job to go into another company. And you know, that was such a tempting offer when my other half was been made redundant as well. So we were going through a kind of, oh God, you know, I'm set up a new business. He's lost his job. And that could have been a real turning point for me. I could have just gone, do you know what, I'd like my nice salary back and a nice car, and we could actually go on holiday. Wouldn't that be amazing? All those things. But you just think, no, this is kind of my one shot at it really, and unless I really go for this and really push it, then I know I'll regret it. But yeah, I'm sure we've all had loads of times where we thought, oh God.
I think the opposite slightly for me, because obviously I've thought a lot about, you know, wanting to go out and set up my own thing, and I think inevitably I will do that at some point. I'll try again and such like. I think everyone ultimately will make the decision based around the experiences and the value that they think they're gaining from whatever it is that they're doing at that time, and that doesn't necessarily just have to be a monetary one. You know, if you're, I think there's, you know, brilliant things still to do in the company that I'm working for, and for that reason I think I'll stay. And at the point that I think that that's not the case anymore, then that will change. So I think, yeah, you know, you're going to have crises, be you working for yourself or working for someone else. I think you just have to then make sure you take that moment to reflect and work out whether or not what you're doing is for the right reasons. And if it's not, then maybe you look to do something else. And if it is, then you can stay where you are. I think you just, as long as you know what your barometer is for success, then and for enjoyment and things like that, then you'll do well. And just, sorry, flipping back to your last point, I think one other thing I wanted to add was that sometimes there can be an inevitability of something getting big now. I think there are small ideas that turn into huge things without necessarily the need for it to do that. So I think you can also just be susceptible to making something happen rather than necessarily having the vision for it in the first place. You know, there's great examples of companies or ideas that have turned from just like some little hobby that some guy had into something massive, or a business that, you know, was one thing one day and another thing the next, and it just happened. I think making yourself susceptible to change is a really important thing, whether you know how to do that or not in the first place.